Hello, everyone. This is Alex, and welcome back to a personal podcast. It is October 19th, 2017. It is almost midnight. It is chilly, and I'm in my garage, just in case you cared to know that. But as pretty much all of you should know by now, the Cubs season is over, and it ended against the Dodgers in a 11-1 loss at Wrigley Field in the NLCS. The defending world champs are no more, and we say the phrase that we've said for many years, wait until next year. And we say this in a very different kind of context. For 100 years, it was wait till next year and waiting for that elusive World Series. Now that they got it, wait till next year just kind of means wait for another chapter of what has been an amazing ride these past few seasons. The Cubs were the defending world champs this year for the first time since 1909, and they came in with very big expectations with one goal in mind: repeat. They wanted to get back to the postseason and play for that crown yet again. And they accomplished their ultimate goal that Theo Epstein established many years ago: build a team that contends year after year and gives you a chance to win. We all know you're not going to win the World Series every year, but the ultimate goal is for this team to have a chance to win every year. And the Cubs had a chance to win. They got back into the postseason. They won the NLDS by the skin of their teeth, and they didn't do it this year. And you know what? I'm not mad in any sort of way. I am very sad the way things went down. It was not a pretty postseason, and frankly, they were very fortunate to win that first NLDS, because let's face it, they didn't play their best. The hitting wasn't great. Rizzo and Bryant had pretty rough postseasons at the plate. The starting pitching was very good through most of it, but the bullpen really didn't do its job. A lot of walks, a lot of home runs given up. It was not the greatest postseason performance that we've seen before, particularly last year. But hey, we've seen worse, right? With other Cub teams. You don't want to be reminded of 2007, 2008. We're not going to go there. But yeah, it really wasn't pretty, and the Cubs were very fortunate to get to their third NLCS in 3 years. I mean, come on, think about that. 3 NLCS appearances in 3 years. You would take that like that. Obviously, it would be a bit more frustrating if they didn't win the World Series last year, but considering that they did, this is a pretty awesome feat, and we should all be thankful for it, and we should all be blessed for it. And really, most of the sadness right now is knowing that I don't get to look forward to another Cubs game for quite some time now. Obviously, spring training always begins in February when pitchers and catchers report, and then the spring training roster comes out, and then they start playing spring training games, and then late March, early April is when all the regular season fun begins. And every year, we look forward to that clean slate, and right now, that's what we're going to do. We're going to ride through this off season where a lot of things will happen. Let's face it. This Cubs team is built to win for a while, and it is built around a core of a bunch of great young talent that still has a lot of potential to reach. They've already been to 3 NLCS series and won a World Series, and they still have much more to go. But let's face it, there is some work to be done here. Where to start? Well, first let's talk about the postseason itself. Losing in 5 games to the Dodgers. 3, that's not possible. It's late, folks. I'm sorry. Losing to 5 games to the Dodgers, they squeaked out a Game 4 win. They didn't get swept. They were down 3-0 at one point. They got absolutely murdered in this game 5, 11-1. Jose Quintana got hit around, and I can't be mad at Quintana. He didn't pitch very badly. The Dodgers just swung away and crushed him. I mean, that's just good play by the Dodgers, and they were clearly the better team in this series. So hats off to them, and good luck to them in the World Series. But ugly, ugly loss. Hate to see the season end like this, but, you know, it was fate. It wasn't meant to be, and we accept it. We don't like it, but we accept it. I'm really, really happy that Cubs fans alike understand the great feat that this team has accomplished the past few years, and that there's none of that just awful gut-wrenching, it's another year feeling like it's been in the past. We didn't leave Wrigley Field like we did in 2007 or 2008, or mostly 2003, when they blew that 3-1 series. We all remember that. We didn't leave with that same kind of feeling. We left knowing that this team has accomplished a lot and that they've won that elusive World Series. And though we want more, we're always going to want more, and I'm confident this team will win another. But we leave knowing that this team put up so much for us, and that the window is still open, and that there is a bright future still, and we can thank them for that. Like I said, it never feels good losing, but it just feels so much different this time around, and we're glad that they gave us another chance, another postseason run. We got to watch more postseason baseball, because, I mean, there was a point this season where it looked like there was maybe a chance that it wouldn't even happen this year to get there. They were below 500 at the All-Star break. They did not look good in that first half. They looked very mediocre, hungover, and it was frustrating as hell because we knew this team was better than that. They were 5.5 games back of the Brewers when they traded for Jose Quintana. And then they took off in that second half and done what they've done the past few years and just flourish after mid-July. And they did it again, and they rode that to another division title. 3 straight postseasons, 2 straight division titles. We got to see them clinch it in enemy territory in St. Louis. We got to see them spray champagne again. And we got to see them play in an NLDS that played with our emotions. That Game 5 was one of the most painful games that I ever watched. But painful, ending in a win. A 9-8 grueling win and another postseason victory. This team has won 5 postseason series the past 3 years. Before 2015, the Cubs had 1 postseason win since 1908, and that was in 2003 against Atlanta. I mean, it's amazing what this team has accomplished. But, you know, going to this Dodgers series, I'll be completely honest, I didn't think the Cubs had much of a chance, and I'm going to just flat out say that. The team was gassed in that 5-game series. That bullpen that struggled in the second half, that was completely gassed, and it showed. And the starting pitching had to pretty much carry the team on their back, and they just couldn't do it. They were very fortunate to get 1 win in this NLCS, and it was very fitting that it came at the hands of Jake Arrieta, who probably we won't see pitch again in a Cubs uniform. And at least he got to go out with a win and a very good performance in Game 4. But in the end, be thankful for what we saw. Because that was an emotionally draining season in 2017. Between the ups and downs, between the frustration of the first half, between the ups of rising up and beating up on the Brewers and the Cardinals towards the end of the season to win the division, I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster. The happiest nights of this season, outside of the ring ceremony and the banner raising ceremony, because that was beyond amazing, was seeing that division clinching game, and all those doubts of going to the postseason were officially washed away, and that we knew that we had another chance to play for a long postseason run. And that night when they clinched in St. Louis, that was a fun night, and I enjoyed every second of it. And I enjoyed every second of winning the NLDS. I was tired, but I enjoyed it. So, my final words to the 2017 season is, thank you through the ups and the downs, through the times of frustration, through the times of joy, through the times of confusion, but we all stood by and we wrote it out. So looking forward, looking ahead to this off-season, as we are now officially in the off-season, we know where the holes are. We know what needs to be done. 3 key things you can name off the bat. You're going to need some more starting pitching. Arrieta's probably going to be gone. Lackey's probably going to be gone. You still have Lester, Quintana, and Hendricks. And maybe they go out and make a trade, or they sign a free agent. There's not a lot of great free agents, but you have some solid guys like a Lance Lynn or an Alex Cobb, a Tyler Chatwood. Not really sure they're going to go after Yu Darvish, maybe a Michael Pineda, but you have your options there to sign someone good, and then maybe you work out another pitcher, whether it's Mike Montgomery, whether it's maybe... I don't really want to see Dylan Maples because he's going to be a reliever most likely, but maybe you work out a Sang in a 5 spot. But I think the Cubs are going to have to make a move for a starting pitcher no matter what, and I think it's probably going to be in free agency unless they decide to trade someone, but I really don't want to get in depth of that because who knows what's going to happen with a trade. I really don't see them trading Schwarber. I think they like him too much. Maybe they do an Ian Happ. I don't know. It's just too early to tell right now, but there is going to be a move for starting pitching, whether it's a signing or a trade or something. It is going to happen. There is going to be a shakeup in this rotation because you're going to have to fill some shoes. That's just the reality of it. Other thing, they're going to need to solidify a leadoff guy. The leadoff guy by committee this year has shown to not always work so great. Obviously, we miss Dexter Fowler, but you got to put Dexter Fowler in the past. He signed his big deal with St. Louis, and that's that. John Jay did a good job in his bench role, and he played a lot. He played more than I thought he was going to. Maybe there were times where I thought he played a little too much, but overall, you got to appreciate what that guy did this year. He did a lot of good things, and I hope they re-sign him. He signed a 1-year deal, and we'll see if he comes back, and I wouldn't mind bringing him back. The Schwarber experiment, yeah, I still have high hopes for the guy, but the leadoff thing didn't maybe work out as great as we hoped. Obviously, there's a lot of people wondering if they'll make a trade or a splash in that kind of category, and names that come up are like a Christian Yelich, and a big move would have to happen there, but, you never know with this team. You just never know. Expect the unexpected with Theo. But either way, they're going to have to solidify a leadoff guy there. And as much as I like Ben Zobrist, I think we have to accept the fact now that he's kind of on his last leg. He's in his upper 30s, and he's nearing the end of his career, and the best days are behind him. Maybe he could rebound a little better next year and stay healthy with his wrist problems, but yeah, I don't see him ever being the Ben Zobrist he was in his prime. And we'll hopefully kind of further develop and let Albert Almora Jr. keep coming along, because I think he showed greatness this year, and I was a little frustrated at times that he didn't get to play as much as I think he should have, but I think next year you'll finally get to see him play his fair share of games, and hopefully that also brings more reliable starting depth to the team. If there isn't already enough, it's got plenty of depth, but him developing even more should be fun to watch in years to come. Also, yeah, there's going to be some changes to the pen. There's going to be Probably some signings, maybe a trade. You're not going to see anything huge, but there are some guys on the market that they probably go after. I think they need another good lefty in that pen, especially if Montgomery's going to be starting. I think you need to put in another lefty in that pen, hopefully a hard-throwing lefty, and maybe add another few guys like a right-hander. You got plenty of right-handers in there, but you can never have enough depth, but I think a good lefty is an absolute necessity. And, maybe you keep Brian Dunsing, but even if you do, you're still going to need another one. So add another good left-hander. I think that's the number one need in that bullpen outside of the obvious one, and that's closer. And yes, I am fully for extending Wade Davis. That guy is just nails. He is so good and so effective. I think the Cubs need to shell out their money and say, Wade, stay. Here's a check. Fill out the numbers. Stay. They need Wade Davis, and that was a fantastic trade by Theo Epstein before this season. Wade Davis, the machine, bring him back, because there are a few closers outside him that I'd want in a big save situation other than Wade Davis. So bring him back. And that kind of sums up everything needed for this team. Need some starting pitching. They need to add a bit more to the bullpen. They need to bring Wade Davis back, and they need to kind of solidify the leadoff situation. Those are the three big areas that are going to be addressed in the offseason and that the Cubs are going to be looking to. Other than that, still a really good team. Still a very young team. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Wilson Contreras, Javi Baez, Addison Russell, Albert Almora. Yeah, I mean, what else can you say? Really good young core still that this team has. And, maybe some other guys that are going to be free agents. Maybe you re-sign Alex Avila. I wouldn't mind that. Maybe you re-sign Rene Rivera. I wouldn't mind that. Like I said, maybe you re-sign Brian Dunsing. I'd be all for that. Not a whole lot of free agents. Like I said, the ones likely to go mostly, I think, are Jake. He's going to get paid. John Lackey, I think he's going to retire. Koji Uehara, he's probably going to retire. John Jay, I want him to be re-signed. I'm not fully sure that they will, but I think it is possible. Who else haven't I really said? Like I said, there aren't really that many. I mean, other than Arrieta and Lackey, I think the rest are kind of up in the air. Not saying they're all going to be re-signed, but they may not be. So, we'll see there. And next year is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of moves they make in the starting pitching department. We'll see how long it takes for them to get the ball rolling on said moves and what it's going to be like at the winter GM meetings. They're going to come in this year knowing that they've got holes to fill and that they know that the World Series ride, their first one, is over. There's nothing left to be played off that. It's over, and it's now going to be focusing fully on winning more. I mean, obviously they wanted to win another one this year, and that was the main goal, but there's none of that hangover effect or thinking back effect of it, and it's just fully move along. So, goodbye 2017 Cubs season. Thank you for the ride, and hopefully we will see another World Series here soon. It was a joy and a pleasure to share this experience with a lot of the people that I interact with online and my friends who are Cub fans and baseball fans alike, whether you're a writer or just a fan or a podcaster, radio, TV, whatever. It's been a lot of fun. And, it's kind of sad that it's over, but here's to the still bright future ahead. I hope everyone enjoys the memories of 2017, and here is to 2018.